You ever been laughed at by the person you love most, while she boards a private jet without you? Let me paint you the picture. Friday morning, LAX. I'm standing on the tarmac in a tailored Navy suit, holding 2 designer duffel bags and a surprise anniversary gift in my jacket pocket, a vintage Cartier watch I'd been hunting for since December. A black SUV had just pulled away, revealing my wife, Madison. Stunning in a white power suit, designer sunglasses, and heels that probably cost more than my first car. But it wasn't her outfit that froze me in place. It was her smirk. Behind her stood her 3 closest girlfriends, all squealing like teenagers on spring break, and that damn private jet gleaming in the sun like a cruel punchline. I stepped forward, trying to pass her the bags, expecting some explanation. She didn't even look at me. Instead, she laughed. Loud. Not embarrassed. Not uncomfortable. Just entertained. Like leaving your husband stranded was part of the itinerary. "Ah, you thought you were coming," she said, flipping her blonde curls over her shoulder like this was some kind of show. "Babe, this is a girl's trip. You wouldn't survive 5 minutes with us." Besides, she lowered her shades and leaned in close. "You've been boring lately." That was the word she chose. Boring. Then she blew me a kiss, turned around, and walked up the steps like a queen boarding her throne. I stood there, mouth open, while the engines roared to life and the door shut with a hiss. She didn't even glance back. Not once. Just disappeared behind tinted windows like I was her assistant who failed to bring the right champagne. The jet took off. And that's when something in me snapped. I wasn't going to call an Uber and sulk back home like some abandoned fool. No. I marched straight into the terminal, pulled out my phone, and called Alex, the man I knew Madison hated more than anyone in the world. Her business partner. They built the tech company together years ago, and after some messy internal drama, Madison forced him out. Said he wasn't visionary enough. Said he got in the way. Well, guess who still had stock options, connections, and a very open schedule? Me and Alex booked a flight to Paris first class. I didn't even go home to pack. I bought a suitcase from the gift shop and loaded it with the bare essentials: power, revenge, and a charger. By the time the plane lifted off, I'd posted a photo on Instagram, champagne in hand, Alex in the seat beside me, both of us smirking like devils at the camera. Caption: sometimes, when your wife leaves you on the runway, you build your own damn runway. She got the message 10 minutes later. I know because her first email came through at exactly 10:42 a.m. Subject line? What the F asterisk asterisk asterisk. By 11:05, I had 37 missed calls. By 11:20, she was messaging my mother. Where is he? Is he serious? Is he with Alex? Tell him to call me now. By the time we landed in Paris, the message count was up to 155. All of them desperate. All of them too late. You want to know the best part? Madison's company? It wasn't entirely hers. Thanks to a little prenup clause she forgot about, and a meeting Alex and I had been planning behind her back for weeks, I now held 35% of it. And the board was voting Monday. But that's just where the fireworks begin. Because I hadn't even opened the file Alex handed me at the airport yet. The one labeled private, eyes only. The one with Madison's name on the first page. What I found inside, that's what started the real war. I opened the file the moment we checked into our hotel near the Champs-Élysées. The leather binder was thicker than I expected. Inside were screenshots, receipts, chat logs, surveillance photos, every page screaming betrayal with surgical precision. She wasn't just cheating on me. She was doing it with Ethan, our personal trainer. The guy I'd invited into our home. The guy I paid. The same guy who smiled at me every morning while I sipped my protein shake and Madison pretended she was stretching upstairs. Page after page showed hotel bookings and fake names, airdrop exchanges, cash withdrawals from our joint account. I saw a selfie of her in my hoodie on my couch, with his legs between hers, thankfully covered. But the captions, they were what punched holes in my chest. Can't wait till he's gone next weekend, smiling face with horns. I swear, I'd rather fake a headache than let him touch me again. Loving this secret life with you. I didn't even realize I was gripping the binder so tight until the edge sliced my palm. I just stared at the blood, felt nothing. My world had already been cut wide open. Alex saw my face, said nothing, just poured another glass of wine. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I planned. I made a list. Not a dramatic revenge fantasy kind of list. A surgical one. Cold. Strategic. Step 1. Freeze the cards. Step 2. Pull out half the cash from the emergency fund. Step 3. Activate the lawyer I'd quietly been paying for, just in case. Step 4. Make sure Madison finds out about all of it in the most humiliating way possible. By morning, I posted another picture. Me. Balcony. Robe. Eiffel Tower in the background. Caption. Guess I wasn't so boring after all. The silence that followed was poetic. She didn't call. Didn't text. Not for hours. Then, like a dam cracking under pressure, came the flood. I need to talk to you. Urgent. Where are you? Are you actually in Paris? Who told you? This is not what it looks like. I was going to tell you. Tell me what, exactly? That you were screwing a guy I paid by the hour? That you left me standing on a tarmac like a fool just so you could fly away with your girlfriends while your boy toy waited at our house? She called again. And again. On the 12th ring, I answered. Silence. Then, Jason, please. Her voice was soft. That fake soft. The one she used on waiters when she wanted something for free. I didn't say a word. Jason, listen. I messed up. I was angry. I felt like you weren't paying attention to me anymore. You're always working. I needed to feel alive again. And Ethan, it just happened. I almost laughed. It just happened? I repeated. So the secret accounts, the hotel aliases, the deleted texts, that all just happened too. She paused. Long enough for me to hear her breathing. Panicked. Cornered. Okay, she said. Maybe it went too far. But it didn't mean anything. I love you. I do. Please, just come back. Let's talk. You left me on a runway, Madison, I said, my voice low. You laughed in my face like I was nothing. And now you're afraid I've taken something from you. More silence. Then she whispered, have you? I looked at the binder. At the highlighted parts showing how she was planning to shift shares behind my back. At the document Alex had tucked in last, motioning to remove her as CEO. I guess you'll find out Monday, I said and hung up. I didn't turn my phone back on for 3 days. When I finally did, the first thing I saw was a message from Ethan. A voice note. He was drunk. Slurring. Crying. She said she'd leave you for me, man. Said she'd never love you again. But now she's blocking me. She used me. I think I lost my job, man. What the hell is happening? I saved the voice note. Forwarded it to Madison with no caption. Then I poured another drink, leaned back, and looked out at the Paris skyline. I felt hollow, not satisfied, not angry, just done. But that was just the beginning. Because Madison? She wasn't the type to give up. And what she did next made everything that came before look like a damn warm-up. I landed back in LA to a storm. Not literal. No rain, no thunder. Just Madison, waiting outside my building in a red leather jacket and sunglasses too big for her face. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Or maybe she just couldn't fake calm anymore. Either way, the mask was slipping. Jason, she said, stepping in front of me before I could swipe my keycard. We need to talk. I brushed past her. She followed. I'm sorry. I'm serious. I messed up, I know that. But don't blow up our whole life over one mistake. One mistake. I turned, finally looking at her. Which one? The cheating? The lies? Leaving me on the runway? Or was it planning to steal my shares behind my back? She blinked. So, she hadn't realized I knew everything. That hesitation, it gave her away faster than a confession. I stepped into the elevator. She followed me inside. Okay. I panicked, she said, staring at the closed doors. But Jason, come on. I didn't actually shift anything. You caught it before anything happened. Oh, so I should thank you for being bad at betrayal? She spun toward me, eyes wild. You think this is easy for me? You think I wanted any of this? I built my company from nothing. I carried your lazy *** 4 years while you found yourself. I gave you everything, and the minute I slip up, suddenly I'm the villain? I shook my head. No, Madison. You're not the villain because you slipped. You're the villain because you enjoyed it. The elevator dinged. She followed me into the hallway, still yelling. You don't even know what it was like being with you the past year. Cold. Distant. You were half here. You treated me like your assistant, not your wife. I opened the door to the apartment. She tried to step in behind me. I blocked her. You had the choice to fix that, Madison. Instead, you chose to F*** our trainer. You're not perfect either, she screamed. You always acted like I owed you gratitude just for staying. Maybe I needed to feel like someone wanted me again. You wanted to feel wanted? I said quietly. Then you should have talked to me. But you didn't. You played me. Mocked me. You laughed in my face while I held your luggage, Madison. You enjoyed humiliating me. That was when she cracked. Her eyes welled up. Her jaw clenched. And just like that, she did what she always did when she had no more lies to spin. She blamed me again. You were never man enough to handle me. And that's when it stopped being painful. That's when it got clear. I nodded once, stepped back, and shut the door in her face. She pounded on it for a minute, two, then silence. I walked to the living room and sat in the chair I used to fall asleep in when she worked late nights, nights that were apparently just dates with Ethan at the Four Seasons. There were no tears left in me. Instead, I opened my laptop. One file. One final step. The email draft to the board of directors was already waiting. Alex helped me write it before I left Paris. I attached the documents, clicked send, and felt nothing. Madison wasn't just going to lose me. She was going to lose everything she used to make herself feel like a goddess while stepping on people. That night, she posted a photo. Black and white. Crying. Caption. Sometimes, even when you give your all, it's not enough. The comments were a battlefield. Half the people praising her strength. The other half? They'd seen the leaks. The voice note. The jet. The runway. They knew. And then, the unthinkable happened. Ethan posted a photo too. It was a screenshot of their messages. Dozens of them. You used me. You said you loved me. You just wanted control. Your husband was right. You're poison. And under it, a single caption. I quit. I watched it all unfold like it was happening to someone else. My phone rang again. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, the notification blinked. I played it. Her voice. Quiet. Almost shaking. Jason, please. I don't care about the money, or the company, or the public fallout. I just want to see you. Please. I need to talk. I'm not okay. I replayed the message. Then I deleted it. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally did. About myself. 2 weeks passed. Not a word from me. Not a step near her world. I moved into a short-term penthouse in West Hollywood with floor-to-ceiling windows and a silence I could breathe in. Madison's name came up in every tech blog, every business site, every gossip column. They dissected the scandal like vultures on fresh meat. CEO loses control of empire after husband's revenge power move. Affair with trainer leads to company shakeup. The jet, the betrayal, the backlash. She'd become a meme. And yet, even with all that, she still hadn't stopped trying. I got flowers. Handwritten letters. Emails that swung wildly from apologies to gaslighting, like she couldn't figure out whether to beg or blame. One night, I found a package at my door, a box wrapped in silk ribbon with a note that read, "You knew me before I became her. Please don't forget that." Inside, the Cartier watch I never gave her. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to throw it out the window. The other part wanted to rewind time to when I thought she'd love it. That version of her was gone. Or maybe, she'd never been real. Alex called that night. "You see the press?" I stopped reading, I said. "She's lawyering up. Might try to sue for emotional damages." I laughed out loud. She left me on a runway. I know. But public image is her oxygen. And now it's poisoned. There was a pause on the line. "You all right?" he asked. I thought about it. "I don't wake up angry anymore," I said. "Just aware." The next morning, I went to the beach. No phone. No noise. Just me and the ocean. I sat there barefoot, watching the tide crawl in and out, wondering how long I'd lived in a house where I wasn't really welcome. How many nights I convinced myself her coldness was just stress, or her lies were just misunderstandings. I was a fool, but I wasn't a broken one. That evening, I got a knock on the door. I looked through the peephole. Madison. I should have walked away. I should have ignored it. Instead, I opened the door. She looked small. No makeup. No theatrics. A hoodie pulled over her head like a shield. "I know I shouldn't be here," she said. I had to see you. One last time." I didn't say anything. "I lost everything," she continued. "The board hates me. The investors jumped ship. Ethan's gone. My face is a punchline. And all I can think about is how I threw away the only person who ever really saw me." I leaned against the frame. "And you thought this little visit would fix it?" "No," she whispered. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Not because I want you back. Not because I think you'll forgive me. But because, for the first time in my life, I actually feel the weight of what I've done. And it's unbearable." I nodded slowly. "Good," I said. "You should feel it." She looked down, eyes glassy. "I hope you find someone who never makes you feel like I did." I didn't reply. She turned and walked down the hallway, and for the first time, I didn't wonder if she'd look back. She didn't. A week later, I signed the divorce papers. There was no battle, no drawn-out war. The prenup held. The company was no longer hers. She left with her name, her wardrobe, and whatever scraps of dignity she could collect from the tabloids. I left with freedom, and the knowledge that the man she called boring was the same man she cried over at 3 a.m. when no one else would answer her calls. Funny how that works. The last thing I ever saw from her was an Instagram story, a quote on a black background. Sometimes you don't realize what you had until you destroy it. She was right, but by then, I didn't care. Months passed. The weight of everything didn't lift all at once. It peeled off in layers. Quiet mornings with black coffee and no passive-aggressive glances. Empty closets that didn't reek of expensive perfume. Silence that wasn't laced with tension. That kind of peace, it doesn't come quickly. But when it arrives, it's sacred. I went back to building. Not a company, something quieter. Something that couldn't be stolen from me. I picked up photography again, the way I used to before the world demanded I be a man with a plan. I traveled. Lisbon, Cape Town, Kyoto. I let myself become small again, anonymous. No Madison, no headlines, no pretense. Occasionally, someone would ask, "Aren't you the guy whose wife?" And I'd smile. Yeah, that was a past life. Funny thing is, I wasn't bitter anymore. Just wiser. It was in Morocco, sipping mint tea on a rooftop, when I opened my email and saw her name again. Subject, if you'll read just this one. I almost deleted it. But something stopped me. Inside, no long letter. No manipulations. Just a photo. A baby. Newborn. Wrapped in white. Eyes closed. And a caption. Her name is Lily. No lies, no games. Just wanted you to know I kept one part of you with me. I stared at it for a long time. The date on the file was exactly 9 months after Paris. I closed my laptop, and I walked for hours. That night, under foreign stars, I didn't sleep. My mind was a storm. Not of regret, not anger, but questions. Was it mine? Did it matter? Was this a trap? Was this her final play, the last string to tie herself back into my life? The next morning, I wrote back one sentence. Take a test. If she's mine, I'll be there for her, not for you. She replied 2 days later. Agreed. 2 weeks passed. Then came the result. Positive. Lily was mine. I didn't cry. I didn't celebrate. I just felt everything all at once. The world shifted again, but not like before. This time, I had control. I flew back. Not to Madison's world, but to the child. When I saw Lily for the first time, she was asleep in a tiny bassinet beside a window. The room was quiet. Madison didn't speak when I walked in. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just stepped aside, let me near, and left the room without a word. I looked at that little face. Round cheeks. Tiny fists. Breathing like a whisper. And I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Purpose. Not the kind you chase through business deals or revenge schemes. Not the kind that needs validation or applause. The kind that simply is. That night, I held Lily on my chest, and for the first time since this storm began, I felt whole again. She was innocent. She didn't know betrayal, humiliation, or manipulation. She didn't know what her mother did, or what I almost became trying to undo it. She just needed warmth. Love. A man who wouldn't leave her on any runway. So I made a promise. Not out loud. Not even in my head. But deep in my chest, where truth lives when words fail. I would be her constant. No matter who her mother was. No matter what pain birthed her. No matter what happened next. That was the last chapter of our story, mine and Madison's. But it was the first page of Lily's. And that, more than any victory or vengeance, became the only thing that mattered. Raising Lily changed everything. Not overnight. It started small, diaper changes, 2 a.m. feedings, pacing the apartment with her against my chest while she screamed like the world was ending. Madison and I barely spoke. Our arrangement was clinical, shared custody with zero emotion. She didn't fight me on anything. Not custody, not holidays, not how I chose to raise Lily. She didn't dare. I think she knew she'd already lost the only thing worth keeping. I didn't bring women around Lily. Not out of bitterness or fear, but respect. I wasn't going to let the chaos of the past bleed into her life. I gave her a clean start. The childhood I never had. The warmth I begged for in that hollow mansion Madison and I once called home. One evening, when Lily was just over a year old, I took her to a park. She was wobbling around in the grass, chasing birds like she actually thought she could catch one. I sat on a bench nearby, watching her, when a woman sat down next to me. Her name was Claire. She didn't recognize me, didn't know the stories, the memes, the scandal. She just saw a dad with a toddler and smiled. "She's cute," she said. "She knows it," I replied. Claire laughed, then pulled a snack bar from her purse and offered one to me without asking anything more. It was the first normal moment I'd had with a woman in years. No agendas, no tension, no history between us poisoning the air. Just calm. We talked for 2 hours that day. It became a ritual. The park, the bench, the conversations. Eventually, Claire met Lily. Slowly, gently. No pressure. Just presence. She never asked about Madison. Never pried. She only wanted to know who I was now, not who I used to be, or who I used to hurt. That's when I realized something important. I had spent so much time reacting to the betrayal, to the lies, to the emptiness, that I forgot what healing looked like. Not revenge. Not winning. Not proving someone wrong. But choosing peace when you finally have the chance to feel it. One night, Lily fell asleep in Claire's arms, and I caught myself watching the way her eyes softened, how she kissed Lily's forehead without hesitation. That night, I whispered to myself, "This is the life Madison could have had, if she hadn't been so obsessed with destroying everything real." And I didn't feel hate. I didn't feel pride. I just felt done. Months passed. Then a year. Lily turned 2. Claire moved in. And then Madison broke the silence again. A letter this time. Handwritten. Sealed. I almost didn't open it. But I did. Inside, there was no manipulation. No desperation. Just a simple note. "I know you'll never forgive me, but thank you for giving our daughter what I never could. I see the photos. I see the smile she wears in every one. That's you. That's all you. I'm sorry, I only learned love by watching it from the outside." There was a photo inside the envelope, too, of Madison, standing alone at the company's 10th anniversary. The backdrop behind her was her own logo, but her eyes looked lost, like she wasn't sure how she'd ended up there. I folded the photo and put it back in the envelope. I didn't reply. She didn't need a response. Some people finally understand everything when it's far too late to fix any of it. Me? I chose the bench, the birds, the peace, and the tiny little girl who saved my life without ever knowing what hell her father walked through to become worthy of holding hers. It was a rainy Tuesday when Lily first asked me, "Where's Mommy?" I'd been waiting for that question, dreading it, if I'm honest. She was sitting on the rug in the living room, stacking blocks, wearing one of those ridiculous toddler tiaras she refuses to take off, even during naps. She didn't look up when she asked, just said it like she was asking for a snack. And still, my heart stuttered. I sat down beside her, watching her chubby fingers clumsily knock over what she'd built. She laughed, then looked up. "Where's Mommy?" she repeated. I could have lied. God knows, plenty of people would have. Mommy's busy. Mommy's working. Mommy's far away. But I didn't want Lily growing up in the shadow of lies. She deserved truth. The soft version, maybe, but truth all the same. "She lives in another house," I said gently. "Sometimes people who love each other don't stay together forever." She blinked, thought about that, then nodded once, accepting it with the strange wisdom only children seem to have. And just like that, she went back to her blocks. Later that night, after she fell asleep, tiara and all, I sat on the couch and stared at my phone for a long time. Madison and I hadn't spoken in months. Our interactions were limited to short, cold emails about pickups and drop-offs. There were no outbursts anymore. No begging. No drama. It was almost eerie how quiet she'd become. I tapped out a message. "Lily asked about you today." Her reply came 4 minutes later. "What did you say?" "That we didn't stay together. That you live in another house." She didn't reply. Not that night. Not the next. 2 weeks later, during one of her weekends with Lily, she sent me a picture. Lily on Madison's lap, smiling with a juice box in one hand and a tiara on her head. They were at a bookstore. Madison looked different. Less polished. Softer. Like someone who was still carrying guilt, but learning how to carry a child too. That was the first time I thought maybe, just maybe, she could become a decent mother, even if she never managed to be a decent wife. Claire saw the photo. Didn't say much. Just nodded. She always knew when silence said more. One night, Claire and I sat on the balcony, wine in hand, Lily asleep inside with her stuffed giraffe under one arm. "She's going to grow up asking more," Claire said. "You ready for that?" "Yeah," I said, because I know the answers now. I wasn't that man anymore, the one begging for crumbs of attention, bending over backwards to fix things someone else kept breaking. The man on the runway, holding a gift for a woman already boarding a jet to betray him. I'd been humiliated. I'd been replaced. I'd been forgotten. But then I'd built something better. Not out of revenge. Out of survival. Out of love. I don't check Madison's socials anymore. Don't track who she's dating, where she's working, or what new mask she's wearing for the world. She's a shadow now. A cautionary tale wrapped in red leather and ambition. And me? I'm just a dad who makes pancakes on Sundays. Who kisses scraped knees. Who learned that silence isn't emptiness, it's peace. Lily's growing fast. She's smart, kind, loud, and fearless. She's got my eyes, but sometimes, when she grins a certain way, I catch glimpses of Madison. And you know what? I don't flinch anymore. Because she's not Madison. She's better. She's the legacy that came out of the wreckage. And I'll protect that with everything I've got. Even if the world tries to break me again. The final time I saw Madison in person was at Lily's kindergarten recital. Lily wore a sparkly silver dress with glitter shoes she picked out herself. She stood on stage, a little offbeat with the music, singing louder than every other kid in the row, off-key, confident, perfect. Claire sat on my left, holding my hand. Madison was 2 rows ahead, alone. When the performance ended, parents clapped, whistled, snapped photos like paparazzi. Lily came running down the steps, straight into my arms, squealing, "Did you hear me, Daddy?" I sang the loudest. "You were the whole show," I said, spinning her once before she burst into giggles. Madison approached us cautiously, holding a wrapped bouquet. She smiled at Lily. Not the fake smile she used to wear at galas and shareholder meetings. A real one. Tired, but real. "Hi, sweetheart," she said. "I got these for you." Lily ran to her, hugged her tightly. For a second, I just stood there, watching them. Watching a woman who once lied, cheated, tore our life apart, kneel down and kiss the forehead of the daughter we somehow created in the middle of a war zone. Claire gave me a look, not judgment, not jealousy. Just presence. She was always good at that. Standing still when the world wanted to spin me out. Madison glanced up at me. "I heard about the promotion," she said. "You earned it." I nodded. "Thanks." A pause. "I'm glad she has you," she added. "You're good at this." I wanted to say you had the chance to be, too. But there was no venom left in me. That war was over. There was no point digging through ashes looking for heat. "She has both of us," I said instead. "That's all that matters now." She nodded, eyes wet but holding. Then she walked away. Not like the woman who once laughed while leaving me at the airport. No smirk. No game. Just quiet. Lily tugged my hand. "Can we get pancakes now?" "Absolutely," I said. We left hand in hand, Claire on the other side, into a parking lot filled with echoes of applause and parents making dinner plans. And in that moment, I understood it fully, why everything had to break. Because without the pain, I'd still be asleep in that marriage. Still shrinking myself to make space for someone who only saw love as a weapon. But now, I had peace. I had purpose. And every morning when Lily's tiny feet pattered across the hallway into my room, whispering, "Daddy, are you awake?" I knew I'd won. Not the revenge. Not the headlines. Not the final word. The life. I won the life. And I wouldn't trade it for any jet in the world.